Asia is the biggest continent on the world, covering 30% of the Earth's land area. And when it comes to football, they've got some talents hidden around Europe, but that's only a few. There is a lot of bad players. As today we're going to go to Asia, taking over the worst team, and trying to make Asia the best continent for football. That includes growing youth players, getting the talents back to Asia, and winning trophies first and foremost. As the aims are pretty simple: develop 2 youth players a year, only sign Asian players, Turkey is excluded, and bring home them world-class talents, as Asia is going to become the world's best footballing continent. As yes people, welcome to a rebuild here in the K-League. We are experimenting here, going further than the English League. We are manager of Daegu. Apologies to Daegu fans. 1, you're bottom of the league, and 2, we don't care about the club as much. It is all about making this team just fully Asian players, and really good, as the Asian aim with players is actually a bit more specific, as we need to grow 2 90 rated players here. And they could be from these players who we do have at the club currently. But unfortunately our youth, they do look a little bit stinky. We've got Park Se-jin, who's 59 overall. No good for this team, as before we look at tactics or anything, we're going to transfer list the Brazilian players, because yes, there's a few here. Actually, some of our best, as we've got Cicinha, who's a striker, then Edgar. To be fair, they should bring in a little bit of money, as we've got $5 million, and yes, I've gone with dollars. I couldn't give them euros, really, could I? And let's go ahead and spend that straight away. Of course, on our youth system, as we do already have a scout right here, we've got Jong-Soo Kwon, so we've only got to pay his wages. Or do we go with 3, as there is the Asian countries. We're only going to sign from those 5 countries: Saudi Arabia, Korea, Japan, China, and India. We are not counting Australia. This is not Oceania, it's just Asia. As the first scout, he's going to go to the Republic of Korea. The second scout we've got, he's actually going to go to China. And our final one, of course, he is going to go to India. Reason I'm leaving Saudi Arabia is because they've got the best current players, so we've got our budget to try and maybe find some real-life players there. And here we land. We've got 3 young players here. If we use our budget correctly, we should be able to squeeze all 3. Or we definitely should be able to, because we've just sold Cicinha. I believe he's going to Besiktas for 5.1 million. As here is our first player, Abdulmarek Al-Ayeri, a young right back from Saudi Arabia, should be good at wing back. And here's our other fullback, Zakaria Hausawi. Unfortunately, the midfielder we tried to sign didn't want to sign for us. But you know who should want to sign for us? Of course, youth academy players. We've got Keng Shi Shen, then we've got Subhash Hassan, and a few others that we've promoted, as they've all got loan deals out. As let's test how the current players at the club do. As this is the team that we've been going with all season long. Yes, it's very weak, but let's have a look on the bright side. The only thing we have to do here is avoid relegation, and 3rd, oh my days. That is very good. And the reason I say finishing above relegation, I should have said bottom of the league, because that's where they are in real life. But then I've just realized it's the bottom of the group stages. Great. So it wasn't a good season. That's where we want to be, where Ulsan Hyundai are, winning league titles, getting to the Asian Champions League. And that is where we'll get to, mark my words. There's a few changes to make, especially to our new signings, as they are becoming wing backs. One of them doesn't play yet in Alieri, but still, we are building a squad here, bench and team, so yes, they may not go straight in. The players that we bring in, as look, we had to loan some out, and they've done pretty decent. I mean, Keng Shi Shen, 60 rated at 16. Is he one of the best Chinese players? Because I don't know many over the rating of 60, I've got to be honest with you. As looking at the country, you can see a lot of low ratings. It just reminds me, really, of how hard this challenge is going to be. Especially when our best players, our 4 Brazilians, are all released. And hey, at least we've got a top scorer in Ko Jae-hyun. A fairly decent first season, of course, far away from where we want to be with this team, as do we change this lineup? Think we have decent wingers, and of course we've got decent fullbacks coming through, so maybe this formation leaves us with midfielders needed. And with $6 million, that's the exact position we're going to look for, not just in Saudi Arabia. Gonna scour the whole of Asia and beyond, as there's a good player hiding in one of Europe's best teams, which of course is Taichi Fukui, who was on loan from Bayern Munich, as he signs for the club for $2.2 million. And then also, I forgot about this man, Shen, who looks a good winger. The only problem with that is we've got a brilliant one through the academy, Tomohiro Fujiwara. He looks phenomenal. Also, we've got Chang, only 1561 rated, and Bingwen Huang, who looks a decent striker. Had to promote 2 though, so Sato's come through as well. Tang has got a loan, but it's this man I'm excited about. As does the bench look terrible? Yes, it does in honesty, but when you look at this team, you've got to be excited for the future. And this is definitely not cooking, because the second season in, it is bottom half of the league again, and second from bottom. It is only getting worse. Still no cup, as we haven't qualified for anything, and our youth players haven't played yet, just because they're getting started. That's what I'm going to say anyway. I have just changed positions round, as hey, our signing's doing well in Fukui and Al Ayeri, our right wing back, now back in the team, and Ko Jae-hyung, the winger, looks a gem. And you might ask about the keeper. Oh Seung-hyun is leaving. He is 36-year-old. I'm just releasing a lot of the Deadwood old players, because in our academy we have a player begging to take over him, as how has Tang done? 61, not the best. As the best, of course, was our winger for goals and assists, as we could do with a striker next year, and this is how we're going to play it. We've got these players, and Chang up to a 76. I don't believe it. He's our keeper. I don't think I'll ever need to buy one. Hoping that's the case anyway. And then Bing Wen Hyang, we will give a season up front and see if he works out. A more youthful connection of players as $5 million again, and I'm just going to promote them youth players so they count as this season's promotion players, or promoted youth players, making the team look a lot better, and now we can spend all that money in fixing our problem areas. As first does look midfield, but we've got Hwang Jae-won at the club. It takes a lot of time to cover, but he does look like he could play centrally, because of course he's not going to play right wing back. We've got this man in the squad at the moment, and come on, we need more signings. We need to make 2 90 rated players happen, of course, as I think I'm going to go to the free agents to see if there's any bargains, and we found one straight away. Shigeru Watanabe looks brilliant, the Japanese centre back, and this is the only country we've searched. We've still got 4 more to do. And also, whilst I'm searching, if you're wondering why I'm not using countries like Philippines, I'm waiting for next year to do that rebuild, because next year they're adding a lot more countries. So this year stuck with the normal countries, including Korea, which I'm wearing the kit of. If you do want to get kits like this, link in the description to Soccer Deals Shop, the sponsors, and use the code MWS10 for a discount and to help the channel. But you can also help the channel by hitting the subscribe button, as we're racing to 50k. But before we do that, of course, we've got this rebuild, and Watanabe signs, and then he's shortly joined by a short striker in PAOK, and then by a defender, Chi Han. They're both from China, but the most interesting signing is this man walking in right now. Banlinger free agent goalkeeper, 65 overall, so he's gonna fight Sohu Jang for that #1 shirt, which I won't lie to you, belongs directly to Chang at the moment, as looking at the team, we still are short on centre-backs. Oh, but a wing-back in midfield. It was a -10 rating. I'm going to prioritise midfield, and I'm going to get Kaito Mizuta. As you can see, we've got the money, spending near to nothing with free agent signings, as he completes a quick and very simple window. And a lot to process right here. Look how this squad's doing. Some players in the lineup not happy, and others aren't. In fact, all aren't. And Fukui and then Mizuta not very happy. The first thing that shocked me here is this player in the reserves. Park Si-jin, only 21 years of age, actually getting into the lineup, and hey, we might as well use him. Put him onto the bench and then make a few little changes. That's a lot better team than we started with, but has it proved it in the league? Let's start check it firstly, and I mean, there's a lot of goals, but Ko Jae-hyung scored less, Shen, and then Park scored 11. Game time looking weird for everyone as fourth. Right, we are in the championship group, so that is gradual improvement. But does that, of course, put us in this Asian Continental Cup? Because that's what we want to be winning. Of course, with 290 rated players. As trophies aren't the main threat, really. Just getting our players' ratings up. Trying to change loads of positions to just higher the overalls. And 4 seasons deep, it looks relatively like a championship side, one that's just trying to survive, so we do need more money, and get it! $13 million, and of course we already have scouts paid for, so we can just pay some wages, and then prioritize a bit of quality. As an academy, we'll get young players, but we do have a few old ones. Luckily, Ko Jae-hyun is only 26 in this save. Thought he was a lot older, as we know what position we're going for. We're going central centre-back from any of the nationalities. And when I think Asian defenders, I think Yoshida, Tomiyasu, and of course it's got to be Japan, as Tomoki Iwata. Yes, he's not a defender, but you can change him to centre-back, and we actually can't sign him unless it's for his release clause. And he must be taking his time over it, because we've just reached bloody deadline day. And I actually don't believe it, because we haven't got a reply from Celtic or the player himself. We're gonna miss out on our signing here. Desperate for a centre-back, so we're going to go to our second option, Rinito Yamato. He does come from the Belgian Pro League. And we do manage to get this guy for only $4 million, leaving us $9 million for next year. I'm coming back for you, Iwata. Only youth to get in now, and Chung So-han looks okay. We will promote him and Jill, hoping they make some difference. Let's not lie to ourselves, though. They will definitely not be near this team challenging again, still not winning the K-League. But that does not matter because, hey, we made the Asian Continental Cup, Champions League, whatever, and we did boss Group D. Then we bossed it against Melbourne Victory, 4-3 in the quarterfinals before moving to Al Hilal and beating the big club. They have the likes of Mitrovic, Milenkovic-Savic, and of course Neymar, as we made the final, but lost out to Al-Shabaab. Literally Al-Shabaab, not any of the big Asian teams, as our team is getting big though. We've got 2 players over 80. Not to mention Yamamoto, who looks brilliant as a centre-back, but it's all about Chang and all about Hyun. Hyun, in fact, with 15 goals, so they are getting lower, but he's playing more games, getting more assists, and getting support from Jin-taek Park, who's hopefully going to take it up a notch. He has incredible potential, and for a free agent signing, absolutely bloody love it. Bloody love this team, but of course it can always get stronger under me as manager, because I'm gonna push those lads. And before we check our budget, we're gonna promote just a few youth players. They're not gonna be too good, but of course we need to do it for our instructions or rules, as $11 million, perfect for our budget again, even though we did get into the Champions League. The Asian Champions League should offer money, as after all, Saudi Arabia in Asia, a lot of money, as we need a lot of money to make the signing I want to make. And of course, only younger players will probably get up to 90 rated. But there is one Asian player you cannot make an Asian rebuild without. And that, my friends, is Hyun Min Son. 34-year-old in this save, though, and only 84 rated. He's not going to reach 90, but he is Hyun Min Son. So, of course, he's coming back to Asia. In the Asian-only rebuild, we have the best Asian player. Love him, as does changing him to a striker make him go up one? It doesn't, but 89 shooting, he should be capable up front. And plus, Fujiwara, who's a winger, has great potential, and he cannot take over Hyun, because I think he'll be the first 90 rated. But hey, I could be wrong, as Tomoki Iwata could be. As finally this year, he puts pen to paper for us. And if you're wondering why the weird wage, it's because he cost all our money. And he is going to, of course, change into a centre-back to hopefully take this team to Asian Champions League glory and K-League success, as finally we've won it. It's took a long road, but we absolutely smash it out the park. All the way from the bottom to almost at the top, as Fujiwara never plays. It gives game time to Shen, who was one of our first players here in our Season 1 youth batch. And he this season actually scored 10 goals, mostly from the bench. And then Hyun, 22, and then Son, 27. Even at 35, he just keeps on scoring. As you can see, we bossed our group. We've got Ivan Toney's new team in there. And then we did beat Ulsan Hyundai. We beat Al Hilal 5-1 to go and reach the final, which we beat Al Nassr in. Ronaldo will be crying into all his Saudi Arabian money notes as this team's just beaten them. Honestly, Son Heung-min, still 87 shooting. Yes, he's lost his pace, but I don't care. He's still got that weak foot. And that'll be handy for when we play a game. Which won't just be yet, as 22 million for winning the double. That is more than enough money for contracts and youth players. As I am just taking anyone through the youth. We've got Lee coming into the club and then Liang coming into the club. And those both from China. Reminds me, we haven't got many players from China or India in the team. So we're going to search China first. See if there's any hidden gems right there. As this is an Asian rebuild, not a Korean, and Jiang Shenlong. A real life player, which makes me kind of want to sign him more than actually a good regen player, and another free agent regen. As I'm going to be sticking with a real life player, Shenlong is into our team for just shy of 8 million. And no. Why is Park up front? Where's Son Heung-min gone? Don't you dare tell me he's retired. Son, where are you? It doesn't look like he's on the list. I think he's retired on us. The best Asian player. We literally signed for 2 seasons and won't get to use him. Son, what are you doing to me? And at least there's plenty of alternatives. There is a guy at Juventus. He's called Hwang. 80 rated, but there's no chance we can afford him. So it's between Kyu and between Gye, and I think I'm going to go with Gye. Just a little bit of younger, and of course we've already signed from Celtic. He can go and make friends with Owata, our central defender. Or should I say make friends from the bench, because he's going to be sat there. Not going into my team now, that's going with a lot more coaches, and also the style of wing play, just for that structure. To be the best, you've always got to adapt like Pep Guardiola, although people say he's killing football, as we are killing the Korean League. And you might be saying, Max, the league table wasn't even finished yet, and that is because we've got this game, the final of the Asian Champions League. And believe it or not, we do have 2 90-rated players. Seo Jun Chan, our goalkeeper, and Ko Jae Hyung, our player that actually started here. He's only 29 years old. And he's suspended in this team, but don't you guys worry one bit, because we're not playing this final. Now, let me break it down to you. Yes, we've got this final against Al Ahly, but what we're gonna do is swap with a European team and play in the Champions League final. As when I fly over to Europe and see the Champions League final, Barcelona and Roma, we're gonna play either of those teams, judging off a wheel. Either game's gonna be hard, but I think I'd rather play Roma, and it's gonna be Roma. So let's get into this. Still be a huge test. I mean, Roma, I'd rather play than Barca, as we've had a little bit of a club swap. Yes, we are in the Barca kit. Still, it's about the players, not the club. With Daegu at heart, as now Park turns, almost scores top bins. Don't mind the effort, as it goes without saying every player is from the team, of course, that we just had over in Asia. With all our Asian players as Park, if we're on side here, it is Shen pulling it across. A good positive start. Let's just keep it up though, as Fuiki sticks it back into Mizuta, running round. A save, and it falls to Shen. Oh, the flag is up. The flag is up. I thought we'd scored there. I think that's the best chance of the half. Look how close it is. Inches with his knee as we need to try and get into this game a little more. Come on, just get more shots on target. Shen, that is a start. Shows pressure that we're putting on them as a counter-attack. First of the game, really, and we're going to try and use our left wing back. Shen is in the middle. It is Hassawi running through. He's reached Shen with the pass, and that just over the hour mark, or after the hour mark, is 1-0 to the Asian side, and that is what we wanted. I mean, it had to come at the start of this half rather than at the end of it. Look at that pullback. Look at the shot. He couldn't miss with his left peg, as now the nerves are still there, but at least we're not leaving it later. That was my biggest worry, but still, it's a worry because they could score in it. Just give the advantage. And no, they've brought it back. Penalty to them. It is Shenglong, our Chinese defender. Just why would you do that in the box? Roma's chance to get into it. Evan Ferguson against Chang, who doesn't actually dive. And he's 90 rated. Appalled by his effort. I did drag him across as don't lose this game. If we're not going to win it, which we could, we have got a late attack right here. And the whistle is not blowing. It's Malik, our right wing back. Can he drag it back into the middle? It reaches Park. It's blocked and it falls. It is wide. How have we not scored? And the full-time whistle follows. We should be lifting the trophy now. Heartbreaking stuff, really, but still, it is level. We're not losing the game and score. Mizuta across the goal. Good from our lads so far, but it's about keeping them out as well. We've been spun very easily. Finally a save from Chang. Seems to still be able to dive as Mizuta into Park. It is very good play here. The one-touch, two-touch football. It is Shen across the park to Park, who can't park the ball towards one of his teammates, but a good tackle in the middle again, and Shen just keep on running, run straight into danger. And with that, the last action of the game, the final goes to penalties. Let's see what we've got, lads. It's going to be Park. Park it into the top corner. I've made that joke 3 times, and he does score his penalty. Douglas Luiz, though, doesn't. Saved by Chang, and now it is down to Shen. Come on, Shen. Don't let us down. Go into that top corner again. It's beautiful. Mwah. As they've just scored theirs, but we're going to make it 3 from 3. Doesn't even stick his hands out. Good pen. And now Almada. Can we seal this game off? I think it's a real possibility. As it's Mizuta, the signing from Bielefeld, I believe, in season number 5 to score for the Asian lads. As in our Asian rebuild only, all these players have built themselves up and won the European Champions League. As there's Iwata lifting it. Love to see it for this side, as if you want me to visit another continent, leave it in the description.